Hello, my dear friends. How are you doing? Hope you are having an amazing day and not having to deal with drama. Ready for new stories I have for you today? Let's go to the first one. And don't forget to listen to the end of the story, guys, to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. I, female 27, and the youngest of 7 sisters. Growing up, it was pretty much go to school, come home, then have an arranged marriage. My parents allowed me to go to university, and my sisters thought this was unfair and started hating me, eventually just refusing to speak to me. 2 of my sisters revealed they wanted to marry their boyfriends, and all hell broke loose. My parents did everything they could to break it up, saying some vile things. Most agreed with my parents. However, I supported my sisters. They persevered and got married. Our extended family stopped talking to us over the shame. When my partner told me he wanted to get married, my parents were hesitant, but eventually agreed. My sisters barely said a word, but the atmosphere was tense. It was later said that they resented that my parents were horrible to them, but okay with me. I felt bad, but explained I had always supported them, and it wasn't my views that my parents and extended family held. Our relationship broke down further. I got pregnant, and my 2 sisters who were trying to conceive for the last 5 years said they hated that things were always easy for me. They cut off contact with me again, and one, female 37, said she hoped I lost my baby, so I knew what pain felt like. My parents told me that they made mistakes in the past, and my sisters were most likely upset at the freedoms I had been given, and to give them time. My baby was born 3 months early. Due to complications, we were told that he may need 24/7 care. It was touch and go for 2 months, but he made a full recovery. All my sisters, except female 37, messaged and rang apologizing for their behavior, wishing me and my son well, and were very sorry I was going through this. I will be honest, I was hurt that female 37 hadn't messaged or called. I was told to leave it and continue on with my life. I went low contact with my family to protect my peace. F is now pregnant and is struggling financially. My sisters rang asking if I could buy her all the items she needs or give things my baby has outgrown. I said no. They found it awful. My husband's family gifted us many things, whereas my sisters gave nothing. They told me that it's my duty to help, and I was being cruel for no reason, and I had to do the right thing. I then asked, why has she blanked me for years, hating me for no fault of my own, didn't even ask about my child, so why should I care for hers? I will not help someone who was cruel to me. I wished her well, but don't need to help nor pretend I care. That nothing has changed between us, and if that they were so adamant that family should help, between the 6 of them, they could figure it out. They said they were disgusted in me, that my westernized life has turned me into a vile person, and they hope that my husband leaves me so I know the struggle of living life as a single mom. I have the means and resources to help her, so feel bad, but at the same time, they were horrible to me for years and wished ill on my son. Not the a-hole. If I read this correct, the sister who hoped you lost your baby so you'd know what pain felt like is now pregnant, and all the other sisters want you to financially help said sister? Absolutely the duck not. I wouldn't send her a dime. The 6 of them can figure it out. This sounds super toxic. I'd stay low contact with your family. They haven't treated you well. Not the a-hole. Just because someone is family doesn't mean you have to help them, and especially not when the person in need of help has treated you horrendously. Your sister would need to apologize at the least, but that still doesn't mean she deserves help. Not the a-hole. They sound toxic, and it sounds like you'd be better off without them. It's your sister's issue if she decided to have a baby that she can't afford, and it's not your duty to subsidize her, especially after her treatment of you. My, female 25, husband, male 28, doesn't have a job. He takes care of the house chores while I work. His sister, female 22, came to stay with us a few weeks ago because of a fight she had with her parents. Neither wanted to tell us what happened. I didn't want her there. She isn't in school, doesn't work, doesn't do anything to help with chores, is a spoiled brat, acts entitled, etc. I only agreed to let her stay here for a week. It's been 6 weeks. I honestly can't stand to live with her anymore. She makes a mess everywhere, has parties when me and my hubby aren't home, plays music on max volume till 4 a.m. She's rude, breaks stuff, disrespects all my boundaries and house rules. Finances aren't good either, with the extra expenses. Last night I sat them down and told them that she needs to leave in a week because I'm done. I haven't had a real night's sleep in 6 weeks. The apartment is a mess because my husband can't keep up with the mess she makes, and I'm reaching rock bottom with the expenses. He asked if I would let her stay if she would get a job, and I said yes. That would mean she won't have the energy to stay up till 4 a.m. and make a mess, and she will also contribute financially. She ran out screaming that she isn't getting a job, and I'm a B. I called mother-in-law and asked her again why they had a fight. She's pregnant. Baby daddy disappeared into the night when he heard the news. She expected her parents to provide, and they said no, so she came here. I told my husband, and he was shocked but said we can't kick her out now. I said yes we can, and we are. I will not be financially responsible for her anymore. I will not be financially responsible for her child. I will not have a child in my home. I strongly dislike kids. I don't need the noise, the mess, the smell, the extra expenses. Hubby said he understands that I don't want any of this, but he can't kick her out because she has nowhere to go since his parents won't let her move back home. I simply said either she goes or I go. I'm sick of him enabling her behavior. He always makes excuses for her. He bends over backwards for her. Well, I'm not going to. She is an adult. She isn't in school. She doesn't work. She wants to have a baby? Okay, then she needs to grow up and provide for herself. She isn't disabled, sick, mentally incapacitated, or anything else that would stop her from working. She just doesn't want to work. Her parents spoiled her too much when she was younger, and now she thinks the world revolves around her. My friends and my in-laws agree with me, but my parents say I'm the a-hole for kicking out a pregnant girl and making my husband choose between me and her. I'm not changing my decision no matter what. If she's not out in a week, I will be. But I'm curious if I'm the a-hole. Your husband, I'm sorry, isn't very smart. He doesn't work or provide any financial contribution, and he can't even clean up enough behind one person or cause her to be less messy. And the solution after she can't go to school or get a job, or behave like a good roommate or clean up after herself, is that she deserves a place to stay because she got herself pregnant and has no plan. When even his own parents won't shelter her, we have to house her now. That way we can not only do all of these bad things, but also be responsible for her child. You and your husband should talk to your in-laws. They are the ones who created this monster, and he is the one who keeps feeding it, not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. A girl without a source of income wants to have a baby? Throw her out, and your husband should go with her if he complains. You don't owe her to take care of her and her child. Not the a-hole. Your husband doesn't have a job. His sister doesn't have a job. The baby won't have a job for at least 18 years. You're going to be supporting and cleaning up after a lot of people. You are absolutely right to make him choose. I, 38 female, work in an office that since we've been back in person, the management has really relaxed the dress code and allows us to be more on the casual side of business casual. We're allowed to wear jeans every day, unless we have clients coming in, as long as our shirts are more dressed up and our shoes aren't casual, such as tennis shoes. There's an admin, I'll call her Sally. She supports the executives of the company, and so she sits on the other end of the building. Even though we're allowed to dress down and be casual, she's always showing up in overly dressy clothes and doesn't ever seem to be casual. Myself and a few other women at work have made jokey comments on how we should take her shopping for more casual clothes, and she's not working for Fortune 500, so she doesn't need to try so hard, all in good fun. However, today one of the owners of our parent company came in unexpectedly, and of course, Sally is right there front and center during the meeting, and the owner makes the comment on how refreshing it is to see someone in business attire again, and how she wishes more of us would take a page out of Sally's book. After the meeting, I made the comment to Sally that she needs to stop showing off and sucking up and come down to our level. She gave me a death glare and walked away. Some of my coworkers think I took it too far, but I think Sally's just trying to show the rest of us up. You're the a-hole, majorly. As a fellow executive assistant that also supports high-level executives, Sally may not have been given the same courtesy as the rest of you. My office is the same, that they're more casual, but my boss has made it clear that as an extension of the executive team, I had to continue with my business attire because of the meetings and responsibilities I had. Sally may have been given the same directive, so she can't dress down. But even if that's not the case, what does it matter what she wears? Maybe she's more comfortable in dressier clothing, or doesn't have a lot of casual clothes. I'm at work so much I mostly only own work clothes. If what someone else wears makes you that insecure at work, I think you need to reevaluate your work situation. Yes, you're the a-hole. She can wear what she wants to wear, and you and the other women at work making jokey comments about it is just blatant workplace B. For your most recent comments, I would hope she reports you to HR. I, 29 female, have a daughter who is 4, Anna. Her father is not in the picture, and I'm raising her with the help of my grandma. To be clear, me and Anna live in her house, and I help her around the house and with the bills, and she looks after Anna while I'm working. About a month ago, Anna had a very complicated operation. This is for a condition she had since she was born, and operation essentially saved her life. However, I had to borrow money from family, including my sister, to make sure the operation would go ahead, and I am paying it back slowly. The operation has a long recovery period. The doctor said it might take up to 6 months for her to be back to normal. Due to this, Anna gets tired really quickly, especially after active playtime. Because she is recovering, she can take naps and sleep as much as she needs. I've also made sure to break the main meals into 6 to 8 smaller meals, so it's easier to eat, as recently she found eating boring because it takes too long. She has friends visiting her, and the rule with them and their parents is that if Anna gets tired, they move into less active activities, like watching a cartoon or reading, which they can understand, and have been complying with without issues. Thursday, my sister came around with her son and asked me to look after him for a bit as something came up at work. She knows about Anna recovering and needing rest and assured me it was for an hour or two. My nephew, Kyle, is 5, and as soon as he got into the house, he wanted to play with Anna. My grandma wasn't home as she had to visit a friend, so I was looking after them. After about an hour, Anna has mentioned that she was tired and wanted to watch some cartoons on Disney. But Kyle still wanted to play and didn't want to watch girly cartoons. He wanted to keep playing. I told Anna she can go to her room and watch it there, and I will look after Kyle. But he didn't want to let go of Anna and kept insisting she must play with him since his mummy paid us. That didn't sit well with me, and he was throwing a tantrum, refusing to accept that Anna needs rest. So I called my sister and told her to pick Kyle up immediately. My sister did show up, but she wasn't happy and called me an a-hole since she was in an important meeting, and I could have sucked it up since she loaned me money for Anna's operation, so it is the least I could have done. After this, I have asked her to leave. Later that day, I received a call from my mom saying I was an a-hole too, and shouldn't have asked my sister to pick up Kyle since it's just her looking after him as Kyle's dad is in the military and currently away. Edit. As a lot of people seem to be missing out, Kyle latched on to Anna and would not let go of her. He was holding her, making her unable to rest until she carries on playing with him, making her really stressed. I tried to take her from him and bring her to the bedroom, but he would not let go of her at all. And I didn't want to risk hurting her, since her scars from operation are still fresh and only recently started to heal properly. Not the a-hole, but you definitely need to have a talk with your sister. Your nephew didn't just come up with that on his own. People focusing on the "you should have just pulled them apart, what's the big deal?" are missing the entire point that a young child just treated his aunt and cousin, recovering from recent surgery no less, as lowly hired help. Besides the point that he has no right under any circumstances, well or not, to yank around his little cousin and demand she do what he wants, because his mother, OP's sister, apparently prepared him for this visit by letting him know his auntie owes them. He literally acted like a little tyrant on mom's blessing. OP needs to put aside what her nephew did, as hard as it is, and have a talk with both her mother and sister about what she said. If they have a repayment arrangement, as she stated, she needs to make it abundantly clear that she owes nothing else besides the agreed-upon repayments, and that if her sister is going to empower her son to be disrespectful and aggressive based on said loan. I, 28 female, and my husband, 29, have been invited to his cousin's wedding about 6 months ago. All the guests were required to get them gifts either beforehand on the registry or upon arrival. I went to the wedding registry and they had a lot of expensive things, the cheapest being around $150. My husband and I are very well off, and his cousin is aware. His cousin and I were also friends for about 10 years, so I know she's into the finer things. The wedding was mid-December, and when we arrived, she asked us why we didn't buy anything from the registry when everyone else did, and why we had such a small box in our hand before greeting us. I was taken aback. I told her we had something special for her, and she would appreciate it far more than the material things we saw on the registry. She laughed and said it was funny how we probably had the most money, but decided to be the cheap a-holes. She made a scene, and it was hella awkward. In the little box was a letter and an envelope with a $15,000 check to help her and her now husband on their infertility issue. They have been trying for years and were informed the treatment would be around $10,000. My husband and I paid it together because we knew how much that would mean to her, Plus, it was well in our budget. We added the extra $5K just to make life a little easier, because we know they've been struggling financially since the virus. Anywho, after causing the scene, she ripped the box out of my hand and left. My husband and I walked out and I quickly canceled the check. After realizing what was in the box, she apologized for embarrassing us and kicking us out via text, and when she tried to deposit it, it obviously didn't work. She has been blowing up our phone saying how awful we are and how we are taking away her dream to start a family. Although some people say we aren't a-holes and she isn't entitled to our money, others say we are and need to give it back to her because we can afford to while they can't, saying we are rubbing our wealth in her face, which isn't true. We have always been very generous to her. Although I feel bad, I'm disgusted by her reaction and refuse to have a relationship with someone who is clearly in our lives for our money. Here is where I might be the a-hole though. I can be a little petty, so I donated about the same amount of money to a charity helping with girls' education around the world and posted about it on Facebook. My husband also shared the post. We have pettiness in common. She's pissed, and so is my husband's family. Not the a-hole. I was a bit torn here because you'd already given her the gift. But I mean, she ripped it out of your hands, so that does change things. And $10K is a lot of money. She was ridiculously rude. It doesn't matter how rich you are. It's incredibly rude to mock someone because a present isn't as big as they believe it should be. And even now, she can't see that she brought this about. You're better off without her in your life. Not the a-hole. She's only sorry because the check was canceled. She shouldn't have acted that way or expected that money after what she pulled. Not the a-hole. She verbally assaulted you upon arrival at the wedding, before greeting you, to complain about you not having gotten her one of the expensive gifts she had registered for, and complained about the small gift box in your hand. Who does that? She made her own bed. Now she can lie in it. She is not entitled to your money. And as for the charity donation, you can do what you want with your money, even if it's the exact same amount you chose not to give her after her behavior.